always going to be part of some of the lower end, lower cost devices. In most cases, MAC address filters are going to be available just to make sure that you can hard code which clients are able to physically associate with the access point. Normally, web-based encryption, a simplified encryption format, is available in either 64 or 128-bit keys. Usually with SOHO access points, we will see that USB or console configuration interfaces will exist that do allow you to make that initial connection to the device to configure the basics. But from there, we will have a simple built-in web server configuration interface that can be used to further that configuration. Now, in most cases with SOHO access points, this built-in web interface is actually very easy to use, and in most cases does not require a whole lot of training, even to turn on some of the more advanced features. But a lot of times, our small office access points will actually include a simple custom configuration application as well that allow you to do advanced things like tuning your antennas, specifying your coverage area, being able to really lock that environment down, or configuring even possibly some VPN attributes. When we get into the enterprise, however, the feature sets that are available for small offices are typically not enough. So enterprise-level vendors do provide specific access points which are designed for the enterprise level. And in this case, we're going to have a myriad more features. Advanced custom configuration applications, which really provide a very high degree of antenna tuning as well as channel tuning. Advanced built-in web server configuration interfaces that'll support a lot of advanced components such as VPN and virtual LANs and voice over IP and these types of things. Normally, telnet access and even SNMP management are included. Most of our latest access points do support the 802.1x authentication standard with EAP or LEAP as it's known. Radius client capability to allow us to authenticate to a back-end Radius server, thus being able to centralize authentication to the device for network admission control. A lot of times, enterprise access points also provide VPN client connectivity and server connectivity, and may even be able to participate as a VPN peer device. Routing for static and dynamic routing, meaning that it'll even be able to pass some routing protocol information, such as OSPF or RIP. Repeater functionality and bridge functionality are also things that most enterprise-level access points will provide. What's really important to you about all of these features is that you want to make sure that you're familiar with your manufacturer's capabilities and that you have read the manuals and the quick start guides. They will provide much more specific information for each brand of access point that you purchase. Some of these functions, such as those having to do with security, like Radius and VPN support, will be discussed as we go through the series to make sure that we really have a good handle on how these will be configured with our access points and understanding the technologies behind it that can help to protect us. Also, using Telnet, USB, and web server access, we can provide a very good element of configuration control of the access point itself. But really, as a wireless LAN administrator, taking into consideration all of these features, you should know your environment and you should look for products that actually fit your own deployment and your security needs. And then really compare the features among 3 or 4 vendors that do make products for a particular market segment. This evaluation process will undoubtedly take a substantial amount of time, but the time that is spent learning about the different products on the market is going to be incredibly useful for your career as well. The best possible resource for learning about each of the competing brands in a particular market is looking at each manufacturer's website. So when choosing an access point, make sure to take into account also the manufacturer's support and their reputation, in addition to the features and the price. Once you have decided upon the access point that you're going to purchase, implementing configuration and management is going to be very important. The degree to which we can manage the device is, of course, the degree to which we will have success with that particular device. Most of the time, our access points are going to provide us at least console, telnet, USB, or possibly a web-based built-in browser access configuration interface. And some access points will even have the custom configuration and management software, such as SNMP. The manufacturer will configure the access point with an IP address during the initial configuration. If the administrator needs to reset the device back to factory defaults, there's also usually a hardware reset button on the outside of the unit for this purpose. But features found in access points will vary. However, one thing is constant. The more features the access point has, the more the access point will cost. A really good example of this is comparing the SOHO access point with an enterprise level access point. Even though the SOHO access point will typically have WEP, MAC filters, and even a built-in web server, if features such as viewing the association table, 802.1x, and LEAP support, VPN support, and all these other things are required, you can expect to pay several times as much for an enterprise-level access point. Even features that are standard on Wi-Fi compliant access points will sometimes vary in their implementation. A good example of this, 2 brands of SOHO devices may offer MAC filters, but only one of them might offer MAC filtering, where you can explicitly permit and deny stations rather than only one or the other. Some access points also will have different interface speeds. Some will support 10/100 wired half duplex or full duplex, whereas others only offer 10 base T half duplex connectivity on the wired side. Understanding what features to expect in a SOHO, a mid-range, or an enterprise-level access point is an important part of being a wireless network administrator. A list of features to look for in SOHO and enterprise categories is something that you're going to have to decide based upon your environment. And the listing is definitely going to, of course, affect the price that you pay overall. And remember, we're not just dealing with access points. When it comes to cost, we have to make sure that we have the appropriate level of access point for whatever level of office or whatever level of enterprise that we currently have. And at the same time, we got to make sure there's enough money in the budget to get the other things that are required, like our LAN client devices. Those are going to be equally as important as the access point, because without them, the access point does us no good. So really what you want to do is to break down what feature set is required for your own environment, understanding what the implications are of each and every service or feature that an access point provides. Understanding the roles that an access device will play at the access point level will allow you to solidify what options are required to make it a viable solution. The other half of any wireless equation is always going to be the wireless LAN client device. The client device which actually allows your physical clients to be able to connect to a wireless LAN network. Now, it is very important to understand the different types of LAN client devices that you have and exactly how each of these is to be configured for the different types of clients that you may have, whether they be PC-based clients, laptop, or standalone desktop, or whether they be for the purpose of PDAs. It is very important to understand that there is a wide variety of LAN devices that can be used to connect those types of clients to a wireless network. Wireless LAN clients are any end-user node, such as a desktop, a laptop, or a PDA computer, that needs to have wireless connectivity into the wireless network infrastructure. It is very important to understand that manufacturers only make radio cards in 2 physical formats, PCMCIA and compact flash. All of the radio cards built by the manufacturers are built into these card formats and then connected to other types of adapters, such as Ethernet and serial converters, USB adapters, PCI and ISA adapters, and so forth. So we really only have to worry about 2 different types of radios, but it is a good idea to understand exactly how those radios work. The first thing that we need to do is to really look at the PCMCIA and the compact flash cards. These are the most common components on any wireless network, and the PCMCIA card specifically is probably the most common of the 2. A lot of times these PCMCIA cards are known as PC cards, and they're normally used in a laptop computer and a PDA. The PC card is the component that actually provides the connection between the client device and the network. The PC card does serve as a modular radio in access points, in bridges, in workgroup bridges, USB adapters, even PCI and ISA adapters, and a lot of times even print servers. So there are quite a few different categories of clients that can take advantage of these types of cards. One of the things that we also have to deal with PCMCIA and compact flash is the mechanism that's being used as the antenna. Antennas on PC cards will vary with each manufacturer. You might notice that several manufacturers will use the same antenna, while others use radically different models. Some are small and flat, while others are detachable and connected to the PC card via a short cable. Some PC cards are even shipped with multiple antennas and even accessories for mounting detachable antennas to the laptop or to the desktop case by using Velcro. So there are going to be a variety of different types of antennas that we'll see, depending upon where they're purchased and who they're purchased from. Compact flash cards, on the other hand, commonly known as CF cards, are very similar to wireless PC cards in that they have the exact same functionality. But CF cards are much smaller and are typically used in PDAs. Wireless CF cards